communication, it sounds. Well, maybe a bit basic, right? But it is the absolute key, the number one thing for any relationship. Romantic, friendships, family, work, basically any breathing human you interact with.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. It's kind of the core problem we need to tackle first. Most of us, well, we were never actually taught how to communicate effectively. We sort of picked it up along the way, maybe from family, maybe not the best example sometimes.
Right.
But the research is really solid here. Communication is a skill set, full stop. It's not some magical talent you're born with. It's like learning an instrument. It takes practice, deliberate practice.
And the payoff, when you practice, it's incredible. It's almost immediate, isn't it? Think about those times you feel truly connected, like someone really gets you. Your body literally reacts.
Oh, totally. Get that flood of dopamine, that feel-good chemical, and oxytocin too, which is, the bonding hormone.
Yeah.
The love chemical, essentially.
So our mission today really is to move beyond just hoping for those moments and give you a clear roadmap, a blueprint for being the most effective communicator you can be.
And a great way to frame this is through emotional intelligence, or EQ. The American Psychological Association, they point out that EQ is one of the strongest predictors, maybe the strongest, for relationship satisfaction and communication. Well, that's just where your EQ shows up. It's how your emotional intelligence becomes, visible, actionable.
Yeah, it's the doing part of EQ. Okay, so let's unpack this. We've looked at the research and we found this really useful framework from Dr. Carol Comfort. It's based on a super simple acronym, LUV. LUV.
LUV. Easy to remember.
Exactly. So this deep dive is all about breaking down L, U, and V. Let's start right at the beginning with L. Okay, so L stands for listen, but we need to be really specific here. It means listening with absolutely no need to respond immediately, no opinions jumping in, no, oh, that reminds me of my story, no extra input, just listen. Your job is just to absorb.
That sounds simple, but it's actually a pretty heavy lift for most people because it demands what we call empathetic presence. Being present isn't just, your body being in the room. It's your mind, your emotions, everything.
Okay.
You have to consciously, deliberately set aside your own stuff, your thoughts, your judgments, your beliefs, and definitely any distractions. Put the phone away.
That's the killer, isn't it? The phone. But also just that internal chatter, the urge to fix. I know, especially maybe for guys, but really anyone. Someone shares a problem and boom, we put on the Bob the Builder hat. We want to solve it.
Exactly. And if you're busy building your solution in your head while they're still talking, well, you're not really listening, are you? You're just waiting for your turn.
Yeah.
You're missing the feelings, the nuance.
So how do we show we are listening, even if we're not talking?
It starts with the nonverbals. Put the phone down, like we said. Make real eye contact. Square up your shoulders towards them, not a little. These things, they seem small, but they send a huge message. I value you. I respect you. You're important right now, even if you haven't said a word.
So the most powerful tool might actually be silence. That feels counterintuitive.
It really can be. Sometimes the greatest gift you give someone in a conversation is just your quiet, focused attention. Many people, honestly, they just want to feel seen and heard.
Okay, I get that, but resisting the urge to jump in, especially if I think I have the answer, that's hard. Is there like a trick, a technique?
There is, and it's very practical. It's the intentional 3-second pause.
3 seconds.
Yeah. When they finish speaking, before you say anything, count in your head. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
Wow, okay, 3 whole Mississippis. That feels long in a conversation.
It can feel long at first.
Yeah.
But it does some amazing things. 1, it stops you from just reacting on impulse. Give your brain a beat to actually process. 2, often the other person will actually use that space to add something important, maybe clarify their thought more. And 3, this is fascinating. Studies show that pause makes the speaker feel better understood, even smarter, because you gave them that space. You didn't rush them.
Okay, that connects. We saw that Harvard Business Review study, people felt actively listened to by managers.
Right.
Were 80% more likely to report trust and psychological safety. That's huge. 80% from just basically listening better and pausing.
It's a massive return for just 3 seconds, isn't it? And that ties into what psychologists call low arousal communication.
Low arousal. Sounds a bit clinical.
It just means keeping the nervous system calm, lower volume, slower pace, fewer words. These signal safety. And safety builds trust automatically.
So less is more.
Pretty much. My mentor used to say, stop trying so hard to be interesting. Start focusing on being interested. That shift changes everything.
Okay, so we've covered L, listen with presence. But just being there isn't enough if we totally miss the message, right? So
Yeah.
now we move to U, understand. This is about getting what's actually being communicated. We know words carry data, but what about the feeling behind them?
The feeling. That's where, the real meaning often lies. And this brings us to that, frankly, shocking data point from UCLA back in 2011. They studied emotional meaning in communication and found that up to 93%, 9-3, of the emotional meaning comes from nonverbal stuff.
Wait, hang on. 93%, not the words.
Not primarily the words, no. The breakdown they found was roughly 55% from body language, posture, gestures, facial expressions, then 38% from the tone of voice,
Yeah.
the pitch, the speed, the cadence,
Yeah.
and only 7%, just 7, from the actual words spoken.
Okay, 7% feels tiny. Does that mean the words don't matter at all? Should we just watch how people fidget?
No, not at all. Think of it like this. The 7% provides the topic, the context.
Yeah.
But the 93%, the body language and tone, tells you how the person feels about that topic. That's the emotional meaning.
Gotcha. So if someone says, I'm fine, the words are positive, part of the 7%. But if they're slumped over, avoiding eye contact, 55%, and their voice is flat, 38%.
Exactly. You understand it immediately. The real message is, I am absolutely not fine.
Yeah.
The nonverbals carry the emotional weight.
That makes so much sense. It reminds me of watching little kids, like 4 or 5 years old. You sometimes see little boys talking side by side, maybe looking forward.
Yeah, shoulder to shoulder often.
But little girls, so often they turn square up completely, look right at each other's faces. They seem instinctively dialed into reading those nonverbal cues, getting the full picture.
That's a great observation. They're seeking that full bandwidth of communication. And that's precisely why, your partner might say, you're not listening to me, even if you can repeat back every word they said.
Ah, right, because I wasn't showing, I was listening. I didn't give the nonverbal signals.
Exactly. You didn't square up or nod or make those little sounds like, uh-huh, or yeah, or You weren't signaling that you were receiving the emotional channel, just the word channel.
So, okay, beyond the nodding and the ahas, how do we actively show we're trying to understand? How do we verbalize it without jumping to conclusions?
That's where reflective listening comes in. It's huge. Instead of offering your opinion or advice, you reflect back what you think you heard, but as a question. Things like, okay, so if I'm getting this right, you felt really frustrated when that happened. Or, so what you're saying is, the main issue was.
Asking for confirmation. That does two things, doesn't it? It checks if I understood correctly.
Yes.
And it sends a powerful message to them. Hey, you matter. What you're saying matters enough for me to slow down and make sure I get this right.
Precisely. You're communicating presence and understanding together. And the impact of someone feeling truly understood. It's physiological.
Physiological, how so?
You literally change their body chemistry. When someone feels heard and understood, their cortisol levels, that's the stress hormone, actually drop.
Wow.
And their oxytocin, the bonding trust chemical, it goes up. Their whole nervous system shifts from a state of potential threat or defensiveness to one of safety, trust, and relaxation.
Just by showing you understand them.
Yeah.
That's profound, actually. You're building connection on a chemical level. Okay, L for, listen, U for understand. Now we hit the final piece, V, validate. And the research seems to suggest this is the step most people kind of stumble on or just skip altogether. But mastering this is what makes people feel really good talking to you.
Absolutely. Validation is it's crucial, and the definition is important here. It's acknowledging the legitimacy of the other person's perspective or feeling.
Legitimacy. Okay, unpack that. Does that mean I have to agree with them?
No, that's the key distinction. Huge distinction.
Yeah,
You're
right.
not saying you're right or I agree with your belief. You're saying, given your experiences, your thoughts, your feelings, I can see why you feel that way. You're acknowledging that for them, their perception is their reality. And that reality deserves to be seen as valid, as understandable.
Okay, I see the difference. It's not agreement, it's acceptance of their internal reality. But that urge to fix comes roaring back here, doesn't it? We want to correct their perception if we think it's wrong, or argue them out of a feeling we think is illogical. We try to be the savior.
That's a great way to put it, the savior complex.
Yeah.
And yes, it gets in the way. Because often, people don't need saving. They don't need advice. Not right away, anyway. They need validation first. This comes right out of clinical work. Dr. Marcia Linehan, she founded dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, which is incredibly powerful for helping people with intense emotions.
Right, DBT.
She defines validation simply as recognizing and accepting the other person's feelings, thoughts, and even behaviors as understandable, given their context.
Understandable. Not necessarily right or logical to me, but understandable from their shoes.
Exactly. And when you offer that validation, it's like flipping a switch. The emotional defensiveness just melts away. Their nervous system stops feeling like it has to fight to be heard or prove its point. Simple phrases like, yeah, that makes total sense why you'd be upset about that, are incredibly powerful, disarming even.
Even if, secretly, I think they overreacted or I would have handled it differently.
Even then, you can validate the feeling, I see you're really angry, without validating the behavior if needed, or agreeing with their entire analysis. You're validating their experience of the emotion.
Okay. So for us fixers, the people who default to advice, what's a better alternative if validation is the first step?
Instead of giving advice, try asking open-ended questions. This comes from motivational interviewing research, which is all about helping people find their own motivation for change.
Open-ended questions. Like what?
Instead of you should do X, ask things like, that sounds really tough. What do you think you need right now? Or what options have you considered? Or what would feel like the best next step for you?
So you shift from providing the answer to helping them find their own. That fosters insight, ownership.
Precisely. Way more effective long-term than just telling someone what to do. Because ultimately, helping someone isn't about taking away their pain. Sometimes pain is part of the process. It's more about helping them suffer less around the pain, maybe by offering a different perspective, or just by being that validating presence.
So even if I completely disagree with someone's worldview, their politics, whatever, I can still use LUV.
Absolutely. You can listen to understand their experience. You can understand why they might feel the way they do based on their life. And you can validate that their feelings are real and understandable for them. You do it with compassion. Hashtag outro.
So LUV, listen, understand, validate. It seems like the power here isn't just in the individual steps, but how they work together. When you actually do this consistently, you're answering these two fundamental unspoken questions that apparently every human is asking in basically every single interaction.
That's right. These are deep unconscious needs. Question number 1, do you see me? Like really see me?
Okay.
And question number 2, am I safe with you? Is it safe for me to be vulnerable, to be myself here?
Wow. So LUV. Listening with presence answers, do you see me?
Yeah.
Understanding non-verbally and reflecting back answers, do you see me, even more deeply? And then validation, acknowledging their reality, that directly answers, am I safe with you? Because you're not judging or trying to change them immediately.
Exactly. When you communicate using LUV, the answer you're sending back to both those primal questions is a clear, strong yes.
Yes, I see you. Yes, you are safe with me.
And that connection, that feeling of safety and being seen is way more powerful, way
Yeah.
more effective than trying to sound smart or use big words or dominate the conversation. It's about being truly interested.
So the final thought maybe, what it really boils down to, based on everything we've looked at, is that deep down, every single one of us just wants to be understood. And we want to feel like the things we're feeling are, well, valid. Not crazy, not wrong, just valid.
That's the core of it.
So maybe the challenge for everyone listening is to think about your next conversation. How often do you accidentally invalidate someone by jumping to advice or minimizing their feelings or just not really listening? And what would it actually feel like for you and for them if you dedicated that whole interaction to LUV? Just try it.